Hello everybody and welcome to my video. Today we are going to dive in to October Daily. Now, as I've been looking online at October Daily stuff and watching YouTube videos, I'm realizing that a ton of them are Halloween related, and mine is not at all Halloween related. I don't like Halloween. We don't celebrate Halloween. There's nothing that I enjoy about Halloween. So mine is 31 Days of Thankful. I used to do this in November, but it became too much to do it in November and then go right into December daily. So I thought I would do it in October, and I didn't know that there was like an October daily thing. It turns out there is, but it is Halloween related. And so mine's not. Mine's going to be fall and just like the beautiful colors of fall, and I'm using a collection from Traci Reed, so that's what I'll be using. And then I will be doing my creating the mini album. I'm doing it in a mini album that I am just putting together, and then I am using 4x4 page protectors and acetate. I'll talk about that in just a second. I just want to say last week I did not post as much last week. We in California are struggling with a major heat wave. We had about 2 weeks of it, and not just a heat wave, but a very high pressure. It's actually two high pressure systems that have collided, and I struggle with migraines, and I've just not been well. It's been a real struggle. And then we've also had school stuff that I'm dealing with in the middle of having migraines and just being ill from the heat. Thankfully, I think this is our last day where we're going to see 100 degrees, and then I think our weather is cooling down and I will be able to get back into my craft room. The other thing that has been going on, which I'm sure some of you have been affected by it, is the hurricane that happened back east, and then the one that is also hitting Florida. We have a good friend who has a daughter in Florida right now that they're trying to get to, and we have friends, well, actually family. We have family that was affected by the last hurricane, and that, I know, it's just hard. It's hard being in California, being so far away, trying to handle it, the phone calls, the worry, the stress. I just hugs and prayers and love for anybody who's going through that with family, or if you are affected yourself. Just all of the prayers and love that we can send. And please know that I know everybody's just trying to do the best they can, and that's where we're at, right? So I know there's a lot happening. So I'm hoping with the weather cooling down and some other things settling, I will be back on YouTube more this week. So thank you for your patience. For members, thank you for understanding and just being here, and your support means a lot to me. So here I am with October Daily. We're going to dive right into it. I have some acetate. This is acetate that's left over from my project that I did with my Ali Edwards stamp reorganization. If you haven't checked that out, you can check that out. I am so glad I did that. I've used so many of my stamps just in this project from doing that. So I had some acetate that's left over. I have some 4x4 page protectors. And because I didn't have an album for this to go into, I'm just making my own, and we're just going to go with it. I am using this collection here from Traci Reed. It is the Bountiful collection. It is still on her website, so you can still get this. I purchased the entire collection last year when this released. It was her November release, and I purchased the entire collection. So I have the papers, the die cuts, the traveler notebook size pages or pieces, and then I printed it all out, and I then did a print and cut with the die cut pieces. And the thing that I really love about the Traci Reed designs in the collection, she oftentimes designs for Echo Park, and she'll have collections that will come out through Echo Park. I absolutely love her style, her colors, her how she puts her collections together. And I also love how much texture she adds to her collections. You see this page here, this design, is this colorful rainbow stripes, but you can see that it also has this wood grain texture look to it. And a lot of her items, a lot of the things that she designs has that texture or that feel to it that just really elevates it. So, like I said, my October daily is going to have nothing to do with Halloween. I don't like Halloween. I don't celebrate Halloween. Our kids don't trick or treat. They have the last few years as I've gotten older started to trick or treat like with their friends, but it was just never something that we focused on. Halloween always scared me as a kid and I hated it. I was like made to trick or treat and do all of that and I hated it. It was scary. I didn't like it. So we've just never celebrated it. So my October daily is not going to feature Halloween. It's going to feature 31 days of thankful. Oftentimes on Facebook, you'll see people in November, they will do the 31 days of gratitude. And every day on Facebook, they'll post their, what they're thankful for. And a few years back, I had wanted to do that, but I thought, well, Facebook, is going to go away. Like, it could go away. People aren't going to see that. Like, I wanted to do something that was crafty that I could look back on and save. And so I started doing it in November. And then, like I said, it just became too much with December daily being in December. And then it's like you go right into, like, you're just documenting for 2 months straight. And it's a lot. So doing it in October, I found a couple years ago to have much more success with this project. So that's what I'm doing. So you're going to see I'm working on the title page and then I'm going to work on story 1. Now, I'm not necessarily doing days, like every day I'm not coming up with an idea. I'm just coming up with 31 things. And yes, I'm focusing on it daily or thinking about it daily. So there might be something that pops up during a day, like maybe on the 5th, something pops up and that's what I choose to document. But I also have some stories or things that I want to be thankful for and document sort of in my bag, right? So I'm going to be doing stories of home. So I'm going to be focusing on little pieces of our home. Every year I do a stories of home in my membership where we document stories from our home and how our homes change and evolve, and it's something that I really love doing. So I thought I would do it in this 31 days of thankful, and that would give me some buffer stories to share, because to do 31 things it can be a lot. So that is how I'm managing the actual project, because I'm still doing Project Life. I'm still doing my family album, my personal album, One Little Word. There's still lots of documenting happening, right? So what I did here, let's jump into the project now that you sort of know where I'm coming from. I took the acetate and I made it a little bit bigger. I had this acetate left over and I trimmed it down a little bit to the size that is a little bit bigger than the 4x4 page protectors, because this is going to be the outside of my album. And so what I did, you could just attach cardstock. You could do this front and back cardstock and it would probably hold up. The acetate in this for the front and back isn't going to show, but it does make it a little bit more sturdy. So I took some full adhesive sheets that I had. I actually had these left over from Stampin' Up. I think that they were a gift to me because I don't remember purchasing them. And it's not a product that I would purchase, I don't think. So I think it was a gift. I don't know if they still have them or not. They were just full adhesive sheets. And you saw that I added the pattern paper to the full adhesive sheets. And then I added that to the acetate, and that way the adhesive would not show. My plan is also to use the adhesive pieces, or I'm sorry, not the adhesive pieces, the acetate pieces in the middle of the page protectors, so that we'll have some photos or stories that are contained in the page protectors, and then we'll have some stories that are just on top of the acetate. And sometimes the acetate will be totally covered in the pattern paper, and sometimes you'll see those clear pieces, and I'm just going to go with it. And then I was originally thinking that I would get all 31 days on these rings, on these 2 jump rings that I have. I think I'm going to have to split the album up and do half of the month in one, with one album contained in one, and then do the second half in a second one, because I think it's going to get too big. I've been working on it the last few days and I just think that it's going to be too thick. So here you see I'm adding a couple other patterns on the other side. Again, the acetate for the front and back is not going to show, but it does make the front and the back of the album very sturdy, and I like that. So I just had the acetate pieces left over from when I did the organization with my stamps, and I thought, well, why not use it? Seemed perfect to use it. I'm using a punch. This is a We Are Memory Keepers crocodile punch, and it punches through basically anything. I've punched through lots of things with that punch. If you have that punch, what I have found is that if you punch the hole and you hold it and then you twist it, it will make the holes a little bit cleaner. You can see they're not all that clean, and I'm going to do a tag, and you're going to see that it ends up not being super clean, and that's the trick that I have found. I'm also using a lot of ribbon, and I'm so happy to get my ribbon out. You guys know that I love ribbon. I collected a lot of it over the 12 years that I was with Stampin' Up. My favorite thing to do was pick up the ribbon on the clearance rack, because there's a lot of ribbon you get. I think it's 10 yards. It's amazing quality, and if you can get it on the clearance rack for $2 a piece, it makes it totally worth picking up. This ribbon right here, this scalloped dot ribbon, is ribbon that was in the catalog when I first became a demonstrator, like 10, 12, 13, or 14 years ago. It was one of the first sets of ribbon I ever got, and I love it. I'm so happy to be able to grab that ribbon and use it. And then this is something that I got on Instagram. You're going to see that I do that in this album. You're going to see that I am not only using photos. Again, this is about being thankful, and I don't only use photos to do that. I like to do screenshots and to print them out and to add them. So this is the front and the back cover. So the front and the back, that striped paper, I did the front and the back. So the front and back look the same, and then this is the inside of the front and the inside of the back, and I love it. Again, I used some more ribbon. I used that blue ribbon, and then here's these, I call them jump rings. I don't know why I call them that. They're just those binder rings that you can get, and this is what I have on hand. And so that's how I'm going to attach everything, and then I will add ribbon to it. It is annoying, I will say right off the bat, it is annoying dealing with these rings and trying to add pages, and I think working in an album is a little bit easier. But this is a fun way to put together an album if you don't have an album. I just had these 4x4 page protectors on hand, and I wanted this size, and so I'm just making it, right? And we have all the supplies to make all the things, right? So the first story I'm telling, this video is going to cover me putting the album together, what you just saw, and then I'm going to do day one, or story one. That's how I break it down. And the first story I'm telling is Kayla. So here is Kayla. She's holding some sunflowers. This photo is from over the summer break. It is not one that was taken in the last couple weeks, and that's okay. I recently had somebody who was seeing all the projects that I do, and she laughed and was like, oh my word, do you duplicate photos? Like, how do you have so many photos that you can do this many projects? And my answer to that is I oftentimes don't need to duplicate photos because I take a lot of photos. It's just in my... It's like, it's who I am. It runs through my veins, taking photos. I often think of moments as I'll be in a moment and I'll think, how can I savor this moment? How can I remember this moment? How can I document this moment? So that's just the way my thoughts work. And so oftentimes I have a lot of photos. However, I also duplicate photos, and one photo can tell many different stories. And this is a perfect case of this. I snapped this photo during the summer. Kayla had gone to rehearsal, and one of the people that we know and are good friends with has a girl, is with a woman. They're dating. I don't know why I flubbed that. They're dating, and she runs a floral shop, and he had a bunch of flowers that were left, and he brought them to rehearsal, and he gave them to everybody and said, take these home and enjoy them. And she brought these home, and I thought they were beautiful, and I snapped this photo, and this was in her summer pages, and it was just a photo of Kayla with flowers, right? But the story that I'm telling for the very 1st of October is Kayla passed her permit test for driving. And she is well over the age of being able to do this. She could have started doing this last summer, but she chose not to because she was in advanced drama, and she was also in the musical Legally Blonde for musical theater, and she just couldn't handle it. She was struggling with keeping her grades up. She got sort of roped into doing advanced drama. It wasn't what she had originally planned, and she didn't realize the workload and the performance load it was going to be. And so she made that decision to not pursue getting her permit, and that decision came with a little bit of, not regret, but a lot of her friends are getting their permits and already have their permits. And, it's one of those life lesson moments where you realize, like, you have to make a decision for what is best in the moment and what you're doing. And it doesn't matter what other people are doing or what other people think you should do. And I was just really proud of her for making that decision. And so she passed her permit test on the first. So I officially have a child that is learning to drive, which, on top of the heat and on top of the election and the political climate and the hurricanes and the storms and the California fires and all of that, and school starting, I now have a teenager that is learning to drive, and it's crazy. It is so much different than it was when my husband and I, we just got behind the wheel. We learned, we practiced to drive. We went and got our driver's license. This is crazy now. Like, you have to go through, in California at least, you have to go through to get your permit, you have to go through a 30-hour class. That's not even driving. It's just like the work. You have to obviously, study the workbook. And then to even begin driving, you have to go through actual driving school. Like, your parents can't just teach you to drive and call it good. I mean, it's crazy. It is crazy, the hoops that you have to jump through, and all of the things we've been having to figure out. It's just been so much. And so when she passed that test, I can guarantee you our entire family was ecstatic. We all cheered and jumped up and down, and we were so excited to be on to the next phase. So that's the story I want to tell for the 1st of October. And so I'm using that photo. I thought it was a great photo of her. It had the sunflowers. It gave a little bit of a fall vibe. And it totally tells the story of it being fall, it being the middle of October, and being in tank tops, because that's still what my kids are going to school in. Kayla literally went to school in a tank top and shorts this morning. So it just definitely tells the story, right? So I will do the journaling for that. I did it on a tag. I will be doing some typing of my journaling, and then I will also be doing some hand writing of my journal. This is how the front turned out. I will, in the end, I will add some stickles to that and some glossy accents. So then I have the October, I'm so glad I live in a world where there's Octobers, for the front part of the inside of the album. I did do a reason why. I rarely do this where I do like a reason why, but I did 31 days of thankful on that. And then this is the first day, so day 1. I'm going to add a tag, and I'm going to stamp a number 1, and then I will do some hand journaling that just says Kayla passed the test for her permit. I will add this tag here, and you will see that, and that will be the first story, and then I will do the second story, and so on. A lot of the Traci Reed items, for one thing, I'm glad that this is a digital kit that I got, because I don't have very many of these tags, and I can see that I will probably reprint this tag. I'm going to also make my own tags with the paper that I have. But the tags are really perfect to just go on the rings. I really love that. I also added acetate. I went back and added acetate to the back of this tag. You can see right there, it's not as clean. If you hold the punch closed and you twist a little bit, it will make the hole cleaner. But I did go back and add acetate later on, and then I went back and added hand journaling of just Kayla passing the test, and that was wonderful. And then I did do a little bit on the back of the tag that you will see in my next video. So I know I'm a little bit behind and struggling a little bit with content, so I will be showing both my October daily, and then I will also show my Project Life family album. But in December, I will be doing Craftmas, where I will be sharing a video every single day in the month of December, and I'm going to be sharing a lot of getting caught up in my family album. I really want to take the motivation and the inspiration that I'm feeling for October daily and just go ahead and work on that project. I try to have like a schedule of what I share here with you guys, but this month I just am going to dive in and work on my October daily because I'm loving it, and I want to share that and just be inspired to keep up with it. So thank you guys for joining me. You will see more of October Daily coming up. There are 2 other videos here on the screen for you. You can check those out. Please give this video a thumbs up and like it. Also share it. If you are doing October Daily, I would love to know in the comments below, and I will catch you in my very next video. Have a great day, everyone.